Afternoon. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you to tune into every Saturday afternoon. I'm Elsa McGee, your host, and today we're here doing the same thing we've been trying to do ever since we started the show back in 2004, trying to make sense out of a sensitive situation called the plight of veterans in the USA and the USA with the plight of veterans. And I'm here today with my sidekick and my partner in crime, guy that got my back to keep me out of trouble. Tony, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, and you?
And we got a special guest today, Tony. I've been doing claims since 1975. So that'll tell you that I'm a teenager.
Yes.
I'm above my teenage years. And I have never did an intake that made me cry, that made my heart weep. Cassandra, thank you for being here.
My pleasure and an honor.
Yeah. Cassandra, I'm going to let you talk, introduce yourself, and tell them why you made me cry.
My name is Cassandra McAllister. I'm a Gold Star mother of Specialist Cedric Llewellyn Greer Jr. It's caring and loving. I was just telling him about some caring and loving, and which is my son. We called him CL. We're letting him know of my experience that I was having with suicide. September the 9th, 2017. Next month it'll be 5 years. I've been woke, but I'm actually woke now. I'm actually be able to speak now out loud. It's a journey, right?
Yeah.
It's a journey. And it's taken me a while, but coming around the right people at the right time.
Well, I want to thank you because this issue, Tony Barr is my friend in the front line community services in Vet 22. I've been dealing with this issue for years. 22 veterans committing suicide in our country every day.
Yes.
That's a crisis. It's a crisis that's not being responded to on any level other than them having meetings and doing studies.
Yes.
They're pouring money, benefits into, I forgot, I'm talking about the VA.
Yeah.
What we're here, that's why we're here to talk about the VA. The VA is the entity that was established by Congress to deliver the benefits that we earn from our honorable military service. So, it's mind-boggling me because I think that God has equipped me for this discussion. This discussion. Coming home from a term of military service.
Yes.
I was one of the combat wounded coming back from Vietnam, returning into my community, a loving community. I often say at that time it was a segregated community too. I wasn't a latchkey kid because the door was never locked.
Right.
It was the community that took care of itself.
Yeah.
Community.
It was that, loving, that caring, that love that we should have for each other. Anyway.
The village. Remember the village?
Anyway. And it's not listening to this cry. I can remember being in Fulton County jail, padded cell, 15 days after I got home from Vietnam. I had decompensated mentally for the first time coming out of Vietnam, coming back into the community that had no clue about traumatization. They've been traumatized, but they had no knowledge about the impact and consequences of being traumatized, especially being traumatized in a war. See, that's a violent situation. But it doesn't take away the mechanics of militarism either. You know, you're a trained soldier. You're trained from basic training, which we know sometimes can alter your whole personality. So we need the community to know about this issue. I'm trying to put it in context because we are here today with Veterans Talk, veterans talking to veterans and the community about all things veterans. And this is an issue that made me cry because this young man, her son, was an introvert. Let me put it like that. A lot of us are introverts. I'm an extrovert. I explode. I go outside of me. My mama could see it because she knew me. So as soon as I got home next day, Elsa, you okay, baby? You probably need to go to the VA. You need some. I'm offended because I'm militarily minded. You know, done survived one of the most horrific years of my life.
Yes, I understand.
Well, 58,000 of my peers were killed. I survived it, so ain't nothing wrong with me. You know, the denial of militarism, Tony. You know what that is. You don't want to go to sick call or nothing. You don't want to. You ain't got no problem. But VA knew. People that we have been elected to Congress knew. It was just not a priority for them to address. But I want to. That's why I always say I'm so glad I came in the Vietnam generation because we exposed this stuff. We changed the system so PTSD could be recognized. Adjustment disorders could be recognized and was recognized. You know, but they're not recognizing the other than PTSD mental components of militarism. You know, and they're sending our children back into our community without any knowledge of what they're carrying back home. So we got to get this out, Cassandra. I mean, because see, the system need to be where the first person that recognized something was wrong with me was my mama. I'm in her house. I'm back home. I'm, you know, all her prayers have been answered about me returning back from the wall. But she got something that was not normal.
And we know it. We speak it.
We know it. Why the VA not equipping the families to deal with their loved ones when they're coming home?
They feel that
we could save some of their lives. Cause mama didn't get up, Tony. She didn't leave me alone. I had to go to the VA. Even now, with the VA, I go out there, the VA tell me, it's 1969 now. I go to the VA, you know, you got a little anxiety when you got wounded, boy, but you're looking good, you're all right. I go back home and kind of gleefully tell them, oh, there ain't nothing wrong with me, I told you. She said, I don't care what them folks say. Our families, our communities, that's where we're coming from with the Sons of Atlanta, know us, they value us, they are us. That's why we serve. That's why we want to be a better person for that family, for that community. So we not just openly coming home and say, I'm crippled, I'm injured. He didn't have no sign involved. His programming was not to communicate this. He took it inside of him. in a way that mental illness is known to do. If you don't deal with it, you're going to decompensate and do some crazy stuff. People be looking at you and say, that's a crazy veteran there, don't get near him. Stay away from him. We have to educate our community, our families about what the child is going to do. And it's on a few of us that do this. Less than 1% of the U.S. population ever served in the U.S. military. That's the smallest minority group in the country, but it's one of the most powerful because of our influences. We have to bring this issue of suicide to the kitchen table now. Because we're at this great point that God has enabled us to be at. In America, it's election time. It's political season. We got to get involved with it. You know, over 700,000 of us in the state of Georgia, over 2 million in the country, and we vote. We vote. You know, we vote. We just go to vote for Republicans or Democrats. Or just go vote because, well, I got to go vote because I'm a veteran, you know, and just whoever on the ballot that you ain't seen scandalous, and then some of us gonna start voting for the scandalous.
Yeah. Yep.
The question I ask myself when I hear your story, and I know your story, is what is my VA doing to deal with that? Why my VA ain't doing it right? I know how I served.
Amen.
I know what I did on my duties. I performed my oath. And every young man that was with me, I don't care what color their skin was, they performed their oath to this country. To this country. We made an oath to this country, to this government, to this democracy. Yeah. And every day. I can remember standing up doing salute, pledge allegiance to the flag. Every day. And I performed on the job like that too. I might not like the guy next to me, but I had to adapt. I had to adapt. I had to come up with some kind of way to adapt, to change, you know, to integrate.
Yep.
And now I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go to the preacher side of me now and then, so then I come back to the VA. But you know, when we look at things that happen, when we overcome them, we are supposed to be forgiven. For being forgiven is giving you back your power that person that has injured you has taken away from you. You're to forgive them. That don't mean that you restore them to their same position so they can do it again, but you forgive them. The slaves got to forgive the slave master. You got to forgive them. You know, because if you're harvesting injury, you'll never get well. We're killing each other like flies.
Yeah.
We have degenerated to a community that don't have any respect or love for itself. You can leave your house and your neighbor will watch you and go in it, burglarize you when you're gone. I'm on that other side now. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get back over here because it's critical that we deal with the issues in our community now. We got an opportunity. We see all these people running around and they want more than, and they're spending millions of dollars to get your vote. Millions to get your vote. And we just give it to them without thinking the value of do it matter? Well, if it matters, why you got over 250,000 homeless veterans in the United States on any given day? Are we just giving them our votes because we want to be good citizens? We can be good citizens by giving our vote some sense. So see, we have allowed some people to infiltrate our government. I was fighting Russia in Vietnam, and because I love the military, I got a grandson in there, and I'm saluting him too, Sergeant Freeman, all y'all. I'm studying why we have these scrimmages all over the world, you know. I was fighting Russia. You know, Russia was back in North Vietnam. Every military exercise this country's done since then, they've been fighting Russia. Why are we electing people to do that? Why are we doing this?
Yep.
If we look at how Russia operates, it operates with billionaires controlling the government. We elected a president, and he took what? Billionaires into his cabinet, all with ties to dictatorships around the world. And they got us thinking that the government caused inflation. No, businesses cause inflation. Businesses put prices on their goods and services. So we need to stop letting people think that we don't know no better. Veterans gonna have to get back to their good military sense. Get back to this government is supposed to function like you function in the military. If you was unfit for service, they got rid of you.
Yes.
And we know what unfit for service look like. This is veteran talk.
Yes.
Tony, listen, I'm gonna let you take.
I'm sitting here chomping at the bits, waiting. But one of the things you talked about that is so important that everybody's aware of those veterans who had to deal with the stress of combat. There are those of us, and I served in the Air Force, never involved in combat. However, we were exposed to stuff that we couldn't share. When you work, we were in intelligence, and so we got a lot of classified information. And so we saw this stuff and realized what was going on, but we couldn't talk about it. Didn't realize at the time that there's an element of stress associated with that. And yes, there were servicemen who served in battle that deal with post-traumatic stress, but there were those of us who didn't, that also deal with a level of stress because we couldn't talk about, discuss even among ourselves within the agency about what was going on that we saw. And so, and of course, that is not something that is recognized by the VA.
Now, I'm glad you brought that out.
Okay.
So, because that's what I was saying, other mental disorders.
Right. Yes.
There is a recognition of that. I know I'm hoping he's listening, but there's one of our veterans that was at one of the nuclear bases,
yes, exactly.
And he became a whistleblower. The personnel that was there, they was they didn't all look like us. He was one of the few that looked like us. They turned on him like he was a wolf. And they broke him down mentally. To the point that we got him an adjustment disorder. Right? Because of the pressure that they put on him, because he was, he's there in top secret stuff, doing stuff that, and then he's watching these other folks that come in there drunk and so he thinking about his role, his oath. He's doing his job. You blow the whistles. You're like, you can't come over here with that kind of demeanor, that behavior, and you risking too much. They question.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that we dealt with. We saw people within the agency, within the intelligence community, that we felt were a risk. But we couldn't say anything. We had no option to say anything to anyone about what we were observing. And so that's stressful. You're sitting here knowing something that somebody it could possibly do, and you can't say anything about it. And so, you know, you hold that in, you know. And I'm quite sure it affected some of us more than others. But the idea of not being able to say this is wrong, you know, but that was part of the intelligence indoctrination that we had to go through, realizing the importance of what we knew. And then to sit here now and watch 45, a previous president, handle that stuff like it was nothing. where we could have been removed from the military for anything, a whole lot of stuff, a lot less than that. You know.
This is veterans talk.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing but a thing. See, y'all don't know where that come from. I'll tell y'all a story about that. It ain't nothing but a thing. That was an attitude that we had to serve with during the Vietnam period, and that's a saying, one of the sayings that you might hear veterans say when they're up against a little something, you know, where you might have to go in there and take the village out. You know, you know, take the village out, leave nothing living. Why? They done did some dastardly stuff, so take the village out. You're not concerned about or told about whether it's one man or child. You got your job to do. And sometimes these are in isolations that Tony was pointing out. There are different MOSs in the military, and people do different things. So I as a service person, people helping people get their benefits, I always look at their service experience to drag out those things that could be a disability with service connections. And we talk about what is a claim, right? Three elements of a claim. So that's it. That service connection, that experience that you did in service, that caused the issue that you were suffering from now. You know, one of the problems that, and we was able to meet a young lady yesterday. Boy, God is amazing. And young lady that's she gonna come to the show.
She's coming in.
She coming to the show. To help us deal. That's what she deal with, the mental illnesses. She do evaluations, and she was just delightful to listen to. And because see, in order to develop the claim, we're gonna make VA responsible for these suicides, and I want everybody to hear me because we finna do some accountability. You know, you understand? Lay it out. It's my responsibility. You know, you just tell the truth.
That part.
You know, if you know the truth, you speak the truth. You know, you witness to the truth. We have to learn how this system was designed because they're taking it away from us. One veteran at a time. One veteran at a time. They're taking away the benefits we've earned through these sacrifices that we made in the military. And that's why I'm saying, do veterans vote matter? We got to stop just voting for folks. We got to use it as a way of appointing a good employee.
Right. Absolutely.
See, we done got them thinking that they the boss. Oh, help me.
Yes.
Okay, this is Veterans Talk.
That's all right.
This is Veterans Talk.
Yes.
But I want clarity. We want to talk with clarity and focus because we only got a minute. You know, the truth need to be told so that somebody else, because I want other veterans to pick up on it because we got to make this dinner table discussion. And you're sitting in your with your families, you know, because this is about family.
Yes, it is.
It's about community. What you think this boy running naked in the parking lot and the police kill him? He came out of his house.
Nothing on.
Yeah.
Nothing on.
Why wasn't his family equipped to help him? We voting for the wrong folks.
Yeah.
They're appointing people that act like, think like, and do like they do. They're oath breakers. They say they got them rednecks calling themselves oath keepers. We're talking you oath breakers.
Yeah.
In the military, that means you're unfit to serve in our governments. See, we got to take it back. It's my government.
Exactly. All the people for the people. Yes. Yeah.
And then what I did, on top of that, going somewhere to fight somebody I didn't know nothing about.
Yeah.
Going somewhere to kill somebody I didn't know nothing about. I come out of a thou shalt not kill household. You know?
We all did.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm doing something that all of my young adult life I've been told was wrong. Now I got a license to do
Yes.
it. That's my job. Somebody got to teach our community about the military. It's necessary. It is one of the best tools we have for this democracy. And for people in prayer from natural disasters all around the world. I've seen the Air Force flying in through over floods and stuff and rescue people.
Yep.
You know, I've seen the Navy go where, man, shoot, the military should be saluted. That 1% of our population that coming out of our community that want to go serve in the military should be saluted. So
Yes.
your son was a hero.
Yep.
He's one of them heroes that we not gonna just overlook because, well, he committed suicide. He was weak. He was sick already. Yeah, he was sick, but what did he get sick at?
There
Right.
you go.
He wasn't sick when you took him in because you got an entry exam.
Yes. Both physical and
Yes,
mental.
Yes,
I
yes.
don't want to talk about this,
Yes.
but this is veterans talking to
Yes.
veterans
Yep.
And get high ranks
and
on
the
it.
community because this mother, like my mama, I'm an only son. My mama say, Elson, you ain't got to go. See, I was being drafted now, you know.
yes,
So
okay.
my mama say, she done read this stuff, man. You exempt because you the only boy. You ain't got to go. And I got the paperwork.
But my story was good.
I'm kind of at the I'm manly now because I got a baby and you know just grew up too fast. But I want to go on to college, right? But now I got a baby. I got to do all this responsible stuff that I've been raised to do. So the draft coming up, I'm watching all my buddies going. So they going. I might well go too. They talk about them benefits. I can go to law school. I can go to college. I can go somewhere. I'm gonna use it as a stepping stone.
Yes, yes, yes.
Then I'm gonna serve. So my daddy didn't want me to take my uniform off when I got home. And I'm in there during the Vietnam War. He still want me to wear the uniform when I get home. Them folks, they want to see us in no uniform. I got spit on coming back from Vietnam through Fort Lewis, Washington because of protests against the wall.
Yeah.
They protested.
Yeah. That was one of the things that even those of us who didn't fight in the war, but we were serving during the time.
If you
When
didn't,
we traveled off base, it was a standard rule: do not wear your uniform.
Yes, understood.
you're a hated servant.
Facts.
Yes, but that's why we joined the military, because we wanted to wear the uniform to show that we were proud.
Proud of
But in defense of our personal health,
health
Yes.
and
we
safety.
were told, do not wear your
Absolutely
uniform
right.
off the base.
Facts.
Now I know that I want y'all to know y'all can call in at listeners
Yeah.
at 470-251-251-46 47. Or you can call in, join the conversation, ask me a question, expose us.
Yes.
You know, tell us we don't know what we're talking about. You know, I can listen to alternative views,
Yes.
because that's what we've been done to through social media. You know, we got people coming into our. Listen, I can remember it was only certain kind of music I could play in my house.
Yeah.
Yes,
And,
indeed.
and definitely,
Okay.
some of the stuff that's on TV now, my mama wouldn't have let it happen.
Yes.
I couldn't. I lived two blocks from Hunter Street. That used to be Hustler's Paradise. My mama and I went to Washington High School.
Yes,
now,
I know
so
about
and
the
I went to
Hunter
E.R.
Street.
Carter. Both of them had to cross. Well, actually, I didn't have to cross Hunter Street when I was at Washington High, but I would want to go up Hunter Street because the bling.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What about Sales Avenue in that area?
Yeah, bling.
I was on sales. I used to
I
live on
better
sales.
not catch you on Hunter Street.
Yep.
And every time she caught me, she jump out the car me like a
Oh,
bullet.
Father, yes.
With a belt. I tell you, tell you not to come up here. There was certain things she didn't want me to say.
Yes. Right.
Certain
right.
things she didn't want me to hear. Because they was misguiders. They was misleaders.
Absolutely.
The bling didn't tell me what was behind the bling.
That part.
You know, what kind of lifestyle it would require of me. You know, we got to get back to community in a way. I don't want to get into
Yes.
preaching, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to preach tomorrow. You know, I'm going to preach tomorrow. I'm a veteran today. I'm talking veteran talk today. I'm going to preach tomorrow. What we have got to do, you know, Tony tried to do this. We was out there one day. He asked for 22 ambulance. I think about 50
right.
shoulders to demonstrate to the community this 22 veterans a day, 22 young men and women are killing themselves. That's mental decompensation. It just don't happen like bling.
Yeah.
It's a process. You see this stuff, and the person that see it first are the people that love you the most.
Yes.
The people
Yes.
that gave you to. My daddy was. I used to. Sometime when I got home, I didn't want to let him know right then that I was home. I wanted to get out of my stuff first, you know, so I can get it. Why are you taking off the uniform, man? Because our community is proud of us. But we got to get the message to what is happening as a result of this military experience. You know, and not just the mental stuff, the stuff that comes out. The dragging and my generation. Now, my generation, I'm 75 years old, so you know that I had to be in Vietnam 50-something years ago. This is still the fastest dying generation ever.
Yeah.
More
surviving
of
veteran.
us have died from service-related issues since Vietnam than died in Vietnam. And our families don't know. In a lot of cases, these things are service connection. You know, I've been telling people about the new PAC Act. Now, we still need to talk about that because PAC Act. The PAC Act was the new legislation that Biden just signed into law that was a generational bill. Now, it did a lot of stuff that I've been wanting to see in the VA for a long time. But it didn't go far enough. But it went far enough to make hypertension. Now, listen to this. So we should have people knocking on my door to help them. Hypertension, for the first time in the history of the United States of America, is a disability at VA. Now, well, let me tell you what the service nucleus is. So I don't want to mess with everybody. In fact, they're going to give it to you because it comes from burn pits. It comes from radiation exposures. You know, that you have been, a lot of people, we talk about MOSs, you know, you got people being exposed to different chemicals in the military.
Right.
So that's what the PAC Act did. It covered those areas and gave you those locations. but it didn't give them all. See, that's what kind of, when you see people going in the right direction, you want them to go on, do the right thing, period. Because there are veterans that served in Okinawa. There are veterans that served in this country and the military bases that stored, tested, and transported the stuff. They got exposed. They're dying without benefits. Solely because the people that we elected, that we gave our votes to, didn't do everything they were supposed to do on this mission of taking care of veterans. That's what the VA is supposed to do. But now, recent years, they start selecting a group of veterans that they want to come give them testimony before they get a bill. Strange. Dictatorial kind of stuff.
There you go.
Not a democracy.
Yes.
We're electing the wrong people.
Yep.
We need to start vetting the people that we elect. If they can't come to us and talk to us about what we need in our communities with our tax dollars, then they don't need to be in our government. Do veterans vote matter? I want you to say that. I want you to think about it. We are voting in the high 90s. We are loyal, dedicated voters. But we just go to the poll and elect whoever the Democrats or the Republicans or whoever catch our fancy as we go into the grocery store. We need to vet these people and make sure that I'm offended that I love Herschel Walker. Let me say that straight up. Everybody want to know on the football field.
Yes.
I'm offended that they think that I would want him to represent me as a senator. I'm offended, personally. That the party. This is when you got people that tell you what they do with your vote, with your democracy. When I pledged allegiance to the flag, it said with liberty and justice for all. And it talking about everyone. Your what you want might be very different from what I want, and you should be able to have it.
Yeah.
Especially in a nation that's the richest on the planet Earth.
Yes.
We're the richest nation on planet Earth. Don't let nobody tell you different. With over 300 million people. But you got 2% of the population controlling 98% of the wealth. And we going to work every day. Dr. King came with a message for us that could change what we're dealing with today. Non-cooperation. We have to stop cooperating with the oppressors, with the people that are deniers. One of the things that I want y'all to remember out of history, the bus that wouldn't let Rosa Parks sit down on, right? Dr. King said, it's okay. Don't nobody ride it. Don't nobody get on it. It went out of business. It didn't have no passengers. We are giving this stuff, this power to the people because we are unforgiving. An unforgiving spirit got to be taken out of our community. We got to get over this anger because we killing each other. That's what anger does.
Yeah.
That's what intolerance do. That's what lack generates. See, you know what caused lack? Us wanting more than we have. that was something come from my daddy. He'd tell you, you want something extra, Elson? Do something extra.
Yes.
I said, but I'm working with you every day. That's your job. I'm talking about extra. Cause you done got your allowance. Now you want to go to do something else. Especially when he gave me a car and I want to put stuff on the car so I'm trying to work him. Want something extra, son? Do something extra.
Yeah.
We've got to focus our attention on the most important tool we have to keep our freedoms, and that's the vote.
Yes.
We've allowed people to go in our governments, take it over, and write it and gerrymander the lines where, you know, or make it possible for you diabetic, you in the line to vote, and you might be having some diabetic issues, and can't nobody come see about you unless they go to jail.
That part about voting is just so important, because unfortunately most of us, when we go to the polls, president, vice president, senator, those elections affect us, but those state offices, those local judges are the ones that directly affect our lives
every day.
And it is so important that we vote down ballot, because those decisions they make affect us immediately. It may take a while before that complaint gets back to the Senate or the White House. But while it has, we're still dealing with the decisions that those judges and those city and county office holders are making that directly affect our lives. So it is just so important. Yes, vet those senators and the president and all those people, but vet those people down ballot, because the day after the election and they're signed in, they immediately affect your life. And that's the challenge that a lot of us don't realize, that these are the ones, and you'll see the numbers when they broadcast the numbers on the election. You know, all those ones at the top have the highest number. You get to the lower, and it's almost minuscule compared to those people that voted for the president and those all. And that's where we're losing out, because those are the decision makers that affect our daily lives.
Tony, you hit the nail on the head. Let me just validate what you're saying. The Georgia Department of Veteran Services, right, is the one entity in the state of Georgia that's designed to help veterans get their benefits. In other words, bring those benefits back to not only have Brian Kemp not funded this department enough to have quality people there. He's taking funds out of it. He's taking funds out of it. And some of the cases, I get cases all the time of people saying, "Well, they ain't did nothing for me." So your votes matter.
Yes.
On the county level,
yes.
Right? We got the politicians come out there and put up $1 million, right, for veteran services.
Yeah.
We everybody saw that. It was no joke. We got them to come out there, Rob Pitts and all the folks. But when it got down to implementing,
exactly,
the law, the people that should have been, I think, 3 groups that I recognized on that grant thing got money that should have got money out of that $1 million. The rest of us was denied. It's all about who you voting for. This is county. On the city level, let me just talk to you about that. I want what your attorney just said to you to make sense, because on the city level, we got our city councilman. They put in a bill, and it was going smooth right through the city of Atlanta, because we are building a memorial in Piedmont Park, right, to honor the 240 young men from Atlanta, Georgia, Fulton County that were killed in the Vietnam War. This has never been done before. And we'll talk about some of the nuances of that later. But we was getting funding for this, and we had a politician stop and said, I ain't got enough. We got some more questions about this project. We've been trying to do this project since 2015. It's been all over the city hall. You got pictures all over the city hall. We've taken veterans down there, and the city council have endorsed the project and got it. It's going to become a part of Park and Recreation once we finish it, right? So it was a given, because what we're trying to show our community is that you're supposed to be getting some of your tax dollars back to do things in your community.
Right.
We got bad roads in the community. Listen, I like Cascade, but I'd rather ride down Ponce de Leon.
Exactly.
The streets are better.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Listen, we are focusing our votes. We got to start focusing our votes on people that's going to represent our communities.
Exactly.
That don't necessarily mean that they shouldn't cooperate with other people representing diversity. They should. They should be able to negotiate laws that are going to benefit the community. That's the only reason we got government. Yeah. Now we got government that's talking all kinds of stupid stuff, and got a bunch of folks that if you don't agree with them, they're gonna come violent at you, or they're gonna be bullies.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
our ancestors didn't shoot back. We do. You know, our ancestors didn't. They didn't. So they need to just go somewhere and sit down with that part of that little demonstration, because we're not gonna let them take away our democracy. We're not finna have a government or a country where some peoples are above the law. Yeah. You know, 45 should have been had handcuffs and a mugshot and a bail set.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why these Democrats waiting so long to do that. They call themselves Democrats. I'm not concerned about whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. Follow the law.
Yes.
That part. Sorry.
Enforce the law. I see people, what bothers me with some of the violence in our community, I see people that can go do a mass shooting and be arrested without killing. But somebody do a traffic issue and they get killed. You know, you get stopped for a traffic stop and get killed. The police wind up killing you. But you can go somewhere and go kill up a bunch of folks and they'll arrest you.
Yep.
We got two different perspectives of the law. I need these people screaming before they go to work for my police departments.
No.
I don't need these war weapons in my streets.
Yep.
You know, just straight up. We pay taxes. We need to be getting some of that tax money back in the community to address some of the problems that we have, because the people that getting it ain't doing what they supposed to do with it. Now let me holler at the ex-mayor had $10 million for homeless veterans. This mayor has jumped up and said he got $25 million, but I see veterans and other people homeless. Where is the money? Why are you standing up saying you got it and we don't see no difference in it? We're electing the wrong people. We electing the wrong people. And they done, and that, as a result, they get in power. So oh man, this is a good place to be. They would go do anything to stay in power, including changing the law, change the voting laws. But we're not going to let the VA get away with this, Cassandra. We're going to make the VA accountable, because we know what we're doing with it. You know, we know that the battle is not ours.
Okay.
We know.
Absolutely.
We know. We're his tools, his vessels, his instruments. Next Saturday, we'll be doing the same thing we're doing today. We got people in the audience, and we want to thank our audience for being here. We got veterans and young lady. What's your name?
Wanda Fields. My daughter's in the military.
Thank you for being here.
Yes,
The parent of a veteran.
Parent of a veteran. That's who we talking to.
Yes.
Because that's who sent them in. That's who think about us every day when we're there.
Yes.
You know, I can remember, man, when my mom used to come to the military, she got something in her pocketbook that she know I didn't want a potato pie. She know she's coming to the military base, bring that potato pie.
The military, when she come home, that's what she wants, potato pie.
Yes.
That's what I wanted. My mom knew it. she gonna bring it to me.
Yeah.
So this is Veterans Talk.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be doing the same thing.
Okay.
Because we want veterans and so we want people to be able to talk back to us about the issues that they're having. Because see, I've learned since I've been on this board of Fulton County Commission as an advisor to the commission. Now, I don't think about that. I get to advise the commission. I get to go to them and talk to them about veteran stuff.
Yeah.
They need to get some of them folks out of the county. Some of them folks don't need to be working there. They're not listening to.
I'm gonna look at you.
They're not listening,
Right, exactly.
and I'm tired of trying to talk to them. And Tony know I be trying to talk to them. I be trying to talk to them, and they just all over where they want to be at. All I want you to do is represent the people that you dare to represent.
Okay.
Hear from them. Don't come in there with all your high and mighty knowledge of what's going on, and you ain't got a clue.
Yeah. That's that part.
We can do away with homelessness tomorrow. We got more vacant buildings in this city that belong to governments with the water running, the lights on, and Tony said, and heat and air. Vacant.
Vacant?
Vacant right now.
That's all right. Vacant. Really?
So they can just take these people off the street,
Okay.
put some money in Grady, do some case management stuff, and send VA the bill. They need the bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
They need the bill.
We have sitting with us two of the most important people to veterans, and those are their mothers. And you're a perfect example of that. These are the people that VA needs to be listening to.
Listening to.
They know
So
their
ready.
children.
And when they
So ready.
and Tony, you so right, bro. We write home and call home to mama.
Exactly.
If something ain't going right, they listen.
Yes.
Even
like-
before we go on sick
like
call, we
it's
gonna
you.
call mama.
Exactly.
So thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
You
Thank
feel
you,
like
bro.
it's here. You feel like everything you said. You're right. Right. We spoke a lot.
See,
We spoke
listen.
a lot, and this
We got to get mamas involved with this.
Exactly.
Cause see,
because they tell us,
you know,
they tell us things, and
Yeah.
that's why I was crying, because a lot of things, like you said, they tell him they can't say.
Yeah.
But this is his only person that he can speak with.
Yes.
Don't tell mama.
So I got to carry this with me,
Yes.
you know.
and we
he
gotta-
was worrying about that honor.
See, that's why we appealing to veterans, dependents, and like-minded community.
Yeah.
Let's take our country back.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
and once we get the Democrats in, and we got to vote them in to keep these other folks from out. See, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this now. They got a lot of veterans running for office, and they got one veteran running for office against Margaret Taylor Greene. I want all the veterans to know that.
Yeah.
She's an oath breaker.
Yes.
She ain't there representing all the people. She got an alternative motive.
Right.
And we see them, we know what they look like. And they ain't all white, they ain't all black, they ain't all Republicans, they ain't all Democrats. They're all people, though, that's looking for our vote.
Right.
We just shock them.
Yes.
Let them know we don't care nothing about them polls you running. We finna run you out of our government on every level. Like Tony just pointed out, and I just gave you evidence. These people, we could have been finished with the memorial.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we got the architects and everything. So next week,
Yeah.
thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And next week, I get carried away.
I
Y'all.
know,
Thank y'all.
I know.
We're off the air now. So.